Remember when everyone thought that Starfield was going to be the next 10-year game? That modders were going to flock to it. They were going to build new planets, new locations, areas to explore, quests. They were going to fix the game, make it an incredible experience. But then reality set in. It became clear that no one was really interested. Starfield, I believe, has less players now than Skyrim on Steam. And that's going to mean that modders are perhaps looking elsewhere. And they may turn their heads to an unlikely prospect. They might make mods instead for The Witcher 3. Because CD Projekt Red have come out and announced that they're working on a mod editor for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is coming soon, and it will allow you to create your own experiences in the game by making something completely new or editing existing quests and content. It's always been possible to make mods for The Witcher, but they were generally smaller scale mods, like maybe a UI or map update. Perhaps for the holiday season, you could put a Christmas hat on Geralt and celebrate that way. Less ambitious, but now you will be able to make custom quests more easily. You'll be able to make custom quest lines, total conversions. If you're unfamiliar with the term total conversion, it's essentially like creating a brand new game with existing tools. It's been very possible and very popular with games like Skyrim, which, for instance, has this game on Steam, Ender All Forgotten Stories. This is meant to be fantastic. I haven't played it yet, but I've played this studio's Sure AI previous total conversions for Oblivion. I believe they had one for Morrowind as well, but this is essentially a brand new game just using the Skyrim engine. It's not as if they've just put a few new locations in Skyrim. It's literally its own game, its own areas, its own quests, its own story. It's worth checking out because if you own Skyrim, it is completely free, and as you can see, 10,000 plus reviews, very positive, 93%. It's meant to be a ripper. And this could now be possible with The Witcher as well. The main reason that a game like Skyrim gets a total conversion like that, its own game essentially in the engine, is because Skyrim has these sorts of tools available. They make it easy to mod. There are games outside of Bethesda that have gotten total conversions too. For instance, there's a few Dark Souls mods of that kind of scale where modders are trying to create their own Dark Souls game essentially in maybe the Dark Souls or Dark Souls 3 engines. But it's much more difficult to do. That's only going to happen if fans are extremely passionate. They're willing to put in all that work. I'm not really a technical person, but I imagine they've really got to go into the back end. It's probably super time consuming. But with these tools, they'll now be able to do it. For The Witcher, you can get people who want to get creative, they want to build their own story, maybe with Geralt or maybe their own custom Witcher, and they're getting the support from CD Projekt Red. It's planning to release for free in 2024. They're going to share more news about it probably early next year, now that the Cyberpunk hype, I guess, is wearing off a little. We got Phantom Liberty, which I'm playing through right now. I've actually been 100%ing all of 2.0 to see the changes, and it's pretty damn good. It feels really, really polished. The expansion is quite nice. They're clearly turning their attention now to other things, and it sounds like it might release the middle of next year, perhaps a little bit later. But it's clear to me CD Projekt Red want The Witcher 3 to be what Starfield probably won't be. A game people keep coming back to and get new experiences from thanks to the fans. The Witcher 3 obviously sold a gazillion copies. Most people on PC who are interested in RPGs already own the game. They've got it on Steam. They might have it on GOG. And that means if fans release a mod for it, there's going to be people ready to play it. I don't even think that's the case with Starfield. It's done well on Steam. I don't know if it's exceeded expectations or fallen a little bit below that. It is obviously popular, but many people would have played it on Game Pass because there's been so many deals where you could get Game Pass for like $1 a month, and then you can access Starfield. Those people wouldn't actually have access to mods unless they bought the game, and they'd probably need to get it on Steam because it's just easier to play modded games through Steam compared to maybe the Xbox PC store. I can't confirm that, but I imagine that is the case. So this should really mean that there's a much bigger audience for Witcher 3 mods than there would be for Starfield mods. With Starfield burning so much goodwill, I don't think many people are going to flock to it anymore. People would be much more excited, I think, for a Geralt adventure, a brand new one in The Witcher 3, compared to some sort of useless planet in Starfield. Everyone's gone to a million of them. They're boring. Their perceptions of the game, they're just negative. The Witcher 3 still has that high-quality word of mouth. People still talk about it. They released a TV show, the Netflix series, years after the game released, and everyone was interested, even if the TV show turned into a shambles. I think there's an animated series coming. Everyone's still interested. They want more Witcher content. And CD Projekt Red have made it pretty clear that we're probably not going to see a Witcher game for some time. They've got a remake of the first title in the works. There is The Witcher 4, but we don't really know a lot about those stories. Is The Witcher 4 going to be Ciri? Is it going to be a brand new character? It would be a bit middling if CD Projekt Red backflipped on Geralt's story being over, which they made clear it was with Witcher 3. It was the end of his story. If they backflipped purely because they knew it would sell more copies to bring him back, get that familiar face on the box art, that would be a bit dodgy, especially after everything that happened with Cyberpunk. They fixed their reputation somewhat. There's still perceptions there. I don't think anything they release will have the same level of hype as Cyberpunk, because that was huge. It sold 25 million plus copies despite all the backlash. That is Baldur's Gate 3 numbers that everyone's still talking about. It's going to win Game of the Year like Wild Hunt did back in 2015. But if we were to get brand new content for The Witcher, I could see it being pretty ambitious. With modern technology, there's plenty you can do. AI is a bit of a controversial subject, but I could see how it could help modders out with creating bigger, grander experiences. That being said, I never want to see a world where games are completely AI created. I've just played Starfield, where I've gone to a gazillion planets, where it's all the same. I see the same outposts, the exact same empty, dull caves. Even often the same notes on dead bodies. I'll go to Mars, there'll be a dead worker, it's got a note on it. And then I go to planet blah 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 blah, and it's got the same body, the same note again. There's no logic there, it's totally random. What I would like to see though, is that you could use AI for voice acting. I've seen examples, even in Skyrim mods, where that's done pretty well, where NPCs are not only voiced, but sometimes they will even speak back to you based on your responses. The main benefit there I would see is you can have Geralt in his own story, perhaps using the same voice or close to the same voice from The Witcher 3 if you used AI. Maybe legal reasons wouldn't make it possible, but you could surely get it close while still covering yourselves. I think that would be necessary to get heaps of interest in a mod like that. If you could chuck a trailer up on YouTube where you've essentially got a new Geralt adventure, he's talking, you maybe have Ciri in there, other characters, I reckon a lot of people would get around that. Given the fact that we're not going to get a CD Projekt Witcher game potentially for years, this could tie people over, and CD Projekt Red really know that. They obviously know that. Cyberpunk's done, they've released their last expansion for it, their last piece of major content, and now it could be 3-4 years until we get a new Witcher adventure, or even just really any content from them. It's mods done right for me as well, because with Starfield, when it was first announced, unveiled, and I started thinking about possibilities, I was thinking about total conversion mods, getting a new experience in the galaxy. But then it became clear that for Bethesda, their focus is on modders just fixing their game. It's them basically saying, hey guys, the game is fine, nothing to see here. If you think there's a problem, upgrade your fucking PC and get modders to fix it if you're still having issues. That's essentially the attitude that they've had with Starfield. I know they're fixing a few things here and there, but they should have been there at launch. And now modders are falling behind. Instead of making new content, they're having to fix the game first. And there's been a lot of talk about how the way Starfield was built, mods may not be possible in the same way as they were for Skyrim, for Fallout 4. That's a huge issue, because if people aren't interested in that game, if modders are going to have a harder time, surely they will look elsewhere. And this could be a safe haven. I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed if modders choose to make a brand new campaign for The Witcher instead of Starfield. In fact, people might be way more excited. I guess the concern might be is when it comes to Witcher, the reason I think the third game is popular is because of the main story, because of some of the media side quests. I don't think it's really the day-to-day gameplay, going to those question marks on a map. Some of them are exciting, some of them are a bit more middling, like monster nests, or just something that you would find in any open world game to date. It's really the story, it's really the characters. So for a modder to match that and craft an extremely fulfilling narrative, that is going to take a bit of work, I think. It's going to take a lot of ambition. There'll still be people who enjoy these mods, but if you want to make something memorable and really impress the same audience that were drawn to the Wild Hunt, you're going to have to craft a great story. It's going to have to be enjoyable to go through. It's going to have that choice and consequence, different ways to play it. It's got to be really, really interesting. But I think plenty of people will have a crack. The community's massive for this game. I think I saw it had sold something like 60 plus million copies. That is absolutely huge, and I would imagine a lot of that was on PC. You do get some games where they sell more on console, but with The Witcher, it seems to have a huge PC audience, like Elden Ring, like the Bethesda game has, so it's going to have no shortage of potential players. And if we scroll down here, as expected, someone asks if this will be for consoles as well. They say it's PC only. That really is expected. I know Bethesda have put some mods on consoles. I don't really know how that works exactly, but for what people will probably be looking to achieve, PC makes sense. Maybe in years to come, because we've seen with Endril, that total conversion for Skyrim I mentioned, you can play it on the Steam launcher. You don't have to go through a complicated process to play it, which sometimes was a barrier for people. Just anything technical, people won't even give it a shot, which is why they've put Endril on Steam. It's why the developers have done that, and plenty of people have played it on Steam. Lots and lots of reviews, which is cool. So maybe in the future, if someone creates a great mod for The Witcher 3, they put it on consoles, more people play it as well. But people are clearly very excited, and The Witcher as an IP, it still has a lot of hype for it. Netflix have probably damaged the brand a little bit for casual fans, seeing that awful TV show go from solid to just absolutely abysmal over time probably turns a few people off, but this is the way to redeem it, because if fans can create something that's true to the original Witcher 3 experience, it can be true to Geralt, then it's only going to help to keep the series relevant as we wait for the next game. CD Projekt Red have done decent things since the initial Cyberpunk controversy. I don't think people should forget that. It's easy to say they've redeemed themselves, but you don't really know what a company or people are going to do when the chips are down. When they've got that opportunity, when they're building Witcher 4 and they get to that stage where, oh, we'd love to release it for Christmas, we'll make so much money, should we do that or should we hold off another year or two until it's actually ready? What are they going to do? Are they going to make their positive reputation, rebuilding that their main priority? Or are they just going to reach for that bag of cash and screw us over again? Time will tell. We won't really know until The Witcher 4 is closer to release. But no matter what they do, I wouldn't just assume CD Projekt Red are one of the good guys again. They're just as good as Larian from Software. They need to continue to prove it. But this is a good start. I look forward to playing anything great that comes out of it going into next year and beyond. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.